Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. Hopefully you can hear me alright over my necessary air. I'm doing card of the day using the Morgan-Greer tarot. It's kind of loud. Just have to try to speak more clearly because I really don't feel like turning it down right now. I've got it balanced in here and it's going to get steamier today. Though I have other stuff that I need to record. I had a card flip out when I wasn't ready. And now they're like, oh, if you don't want it, we're not going to talk to you. Alright, let me try shuffling it a little bit more. Okay. Card for the day. Okay, we have one. My nose is itchy. My hair looked good in the mirror, but it doesn't look that good on screen, and now it's just flopping onto my nose. Eight of Wands, inverted. Now this is weird because I've gotten this card a couple times this week for other readings that I've done. They're all kind of blending together, so I don't remember if it was for Patreon or a card of the day or one of the other longer readings that I recorded. Okay, I'm being drawn to the ends of the sticks. There's two facing and two facing away, and then four that you can't see the ends at all. It's almost like a straw. It also looks a little bit like a mirror world with the sky and the water and the things, like it's a reflection. The mirror reflection. What's this energy? I should know by now, but... Yep. Mercury in Sagittarius, the north and south nodes. Now, they switched. The nodes, planets switched, or signs, right after it changed from Capricorn and Cancer. It went to, like, north node Sagittarius, south node Gemini, and then it flipped. So it might be pertaining to that time. I think it was a couple months ago. A little bit of movement grinding to a halt, a little bit of communication stalling out, the sort of trying to start a conversation and it never happens, and then it just keeps starting over. It never really gets all the momentum going. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. The Knight of Swords inverted. Oh, okay. This knight has the Tower on it. And it's almost like a volcano as well. It looks a little bit conish there. A knight can be a 1 or a 12. I also associate knights with the Hanged Man because they have the same numerical value as a 12. Neptune retrograde. But it's also giving me the energy of an inverted tower, which I see it as one of those controlled demolitions. It's a little, because this sword is bloody, to me it's like the truth hurts. And having half the tower 8 indicates perhaps that there is a tower going on, right? Half the communication, half the tower. And knowing is half the battle. Interesting. Knowledge is power. What's also interesting is that when a knight is inverted, it tells me the Hanged Man. When the knight is upright, it usually tells me the Hanged Man has been turned around. He's no longer hanging on the tree. And the energy of this card that's giving me right now, I kind of see the guy hanging upside down by his foot, like thrashing around. Almost like instead of getting messages from the higher self, the messages are coming from like the inner demons or a distorted ego. If the ego's in control and they've built up their own world, then the truth of the matter could cause great damage to the ego. Oh, okay. I see if the knight is a 1, and then I have an 8 next to it, it also tells me the moon. So it also brings it back to that aspect of darkness. Of something that's hidden, or in some way nightmarish. I'm gonna get another card. Almost. I don't drink coffee, so waking up for me is kind of a process. Which is why I sound like a dead frog and am sleepy still. Okay, so you have a card that landed kind of off to the side, face down, and what landed on top of the other ones is the 6 of Swords. Mercury in Aquarius. Yeah. So Mercury in Sagittarius combined with, it's a night energy, I didn't even look him up. Knight of Swords. Aha. Taurus and Gemini. So we're definitely dealing with the nodes there. Now what's interesting is that I would expect this card to come inverted in here. The 6 of Swords. It's also trying to rain here. The barometric pressure is probably making me sleepy. Don't go chasing waterfalls, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Interesting. I don't remember the other lyrics of that song, so I don't know if it changes the meaning, but that lyric in particular, ooh, oh, this is getting rich. That tower that's on fire in that night card is right there by that stand of trees. And it almost looks like you'd say, oh, here's the knight, he took off his armor, it's in the bag underneath him. Oh, that's actually a woman, but we're gonna pretend that he's got his armor in the bag underneath him. And it goes from 12 to 6, right? It's that something's half of something again. Now, usually upright, this is my sailing away from the bullshit card. And when it's inverted, it's my we need to go deeper into the darkness card. And I mean, it's a little, and this land that he's heading towards is very gray. And I kind of feel like, I'm just saying he because it came out as a knight. And we're dealing with these masculine suits. But I get the idea that the ego is trying to run away from the truth, and the sword's sticking into the boat. It's like, no matter where you go, some of the truth is always going to get in, no matter how hard you hide from it. And I notice that we have the number of balance here, but even if this is 12, we still have this moon energy 18. What's this card? And the Four of Swords. This is I need to go deeper. This is essentially the card in the sword suit that would represent a death cycle, because 13 breaks down to 4. And I would have 10 swords. If this is a 1, I could say 10 minus 1, 9 of swords nightmare. But I could also say 11 timing. It has to happen now. 12 breaks down to 3. That's 10 swords and 3, 13. So, again, as with other energies that I've noticed recently, like the Mars and Aries, this is coming in as like a last showdown with the ego, but it's coming from the nodes and Neptune instead of the Mars and Aries. This, to me, is also a little bit like being in a coma. Right? I'm just sort of, like, zombieing my way through life and not really addressing this ego that helps me survive and protects me from, you know, truths and feelings that might threaten the inner child, or this ego that's built up on whatever the ego's built up on. The ego of, I'm better than you, I'm not good enough, I'm not allowed, whichever things it's structured around itself. And a lot of the reason it doesn't happen is because we're not taught to, or we're not allowed to feel our feelings, and it just sort of builds up until there's a mass, and it's almost like an artificial intelligence. You add so much data, so many, like, expanding the data until it becomes sentient, and that's basically what the ego is. While your core being is on the snooze button. But while you're down there, the ego doesn't really know that while you're in sleep mode, there's the, and I'm saying this as a metaphor, there's the ability to lucid dream while you're sleepwalking through life is the ability to sort of sneak behind the ego's back and be able to start unraveling the darkness within you, the pain within you, the emotions within you, the ailments in your body where emotional and trauma memories are hidden, to unlock them so they sort of dissolve or able to be, left in storage until you forget about them. And at that point, when you reach your own critical mass, and this card goes this way, it's that, like, waking up moment, like, oh my god, I'm so woke now, like, I know who I am. So let me get another card, because I feel like I need another one. And notice that this started out with a lack of movement or communication, which is what Eight of Wands usually is. It's like I'm trapped within my own walls, which is why this card upright would be representative of the inner battle that's happening here. But in the first round of these cards, it's I'm not ready to go in there yet. Ugh. Okay, so after I've said all that, what drops out is the Ace of Swords, upright. To me, this is the resolution, this is the healing. Everything in here is swords except for the Eight of Wands, which is basically the communication card in the fire suit. It has Mercury on it. Now what's interesting is that Mercury is ruling Virgo, and it's ruling Gemini. And we have a fire sign, where just in Sun sign Virgo. And I feel like because we have the Gemini North node, it's creating this like static electricity, because I've gotten this energy a couple times already this week in readings that there's really strong energy with a Virgo Sun right now with these other aspects. And all of these other cards are swords. 10 swords, and then 12 and 1, 13, or 10 and then 11. Breaking down to like 1011, or any other way you want to put them, but it's like the union of opposites with like an air bubble in between. It's like the union of your ego and yourself, or your inner child and yourself, your higher self and the lowest of yourself, being able to come in together and go through this sort of bottleneck. But I just heard from the movie Highlander, there can be only one. Which is sort of this unity of self, like the wholeness of your being. And then each of these branches here is like the different aspects of yourself. So it's kind of like defragging your soul, defragging your consciousness. Because even here in this gray land with these gray mountains, we're getting a little bit of a close-up down here. What ultimately prevails is the truth over trying to go somewhere else. Because you might think you're getting away, like, oh, I don't need to deal with my feelings. But what you don't realize is that land has this mist over it that makes you sleep. That makes you, that like sucks you out of body and makes you deal with your problems. And speaking of mist, there it is right there, coming in with this ultimate truth and crown opening. Alright, I think that's it. I don't want to keep yanking cards out. It's supposed to be a card of the day, and it's already extended. So if you want to get a personal reading, you can hit me up. thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. I do have a list of readings and how much they cost in the description of my infomercial video, which is linked below this one. Also, I can just email you that whole batch of stuff. It includes the links to prints and merch, coloring books, actual art items. And if you want to help support my channel here, you can come hang out with me at Patreon. I've got extra stuff over there. And you could also donate paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. Those are CATtheMinion as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab and my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.